In the future world, jogging in rich neighborhoods is a serious crime. Because truly wealthy people never rush, the poor guy felt like he was about to be exposed, so he immediately went into a 5-star hotel and booked a presidential suite to show off his wealth. Strangely, the receptionist didn't charge him a dime. She just scanned his wrist with a machine and handed him the room key. Turns out, in this future world, people trade not money, but their remaining lifespan. Everyone's arm displays how long they have left to live. Once the time hits 0, they die instantly. Matt traveled all the way to the rich district, using his friend's inheritance. He was determined to turn that place upside down with a 100 years on his arm. First, he spent 3 years of his life on a top-tier suit. Then he walked into the Royal Casino, where the richest people gathered. Matt plopped down right across from the Time Bank president, but on the gambling table, he was the only one placing bets. Because everyone else at the table were his bodyguards. Facing such pressure, Matt didn't even flinch. He directly bet all 97 years of his remaining life, leaving only 29 seconds to wait for the cards to be revealed. No one in the rich district had ever dared to play like that. The bank president folded. Matt 1,100 years by sheer aura. The president saw potential in this bold young man, so he decided to invite him to his birthday party the next day. Maybe they could have another small gamble then. After making his fortune, Matt spent 59 years on a silver sports car. He drove all the way to the bank president's estate. 3 young-looking women stood at the door to welcome him, but they were actually the president's mother, wife, and daughter. The rich have enough time to stay young forever. Matt is thinking about how great it is to be rich. Suddenly, a group of time cops bursts in. The sheriff says he saw Matt running in the wealthy area on the morning surveillance. They seriously doubt Matt's identity. Following procedure, the sheriff takes away Matt's time, leaving only 2 hours for interrogation. He thinks Matt's 100 years of time are suspicious, asking him to explain. Matt confesses it was a gift from a close friend who was about to die, but the sheriff doesn't believe him at all. Without any evidence, he still decides to arrest Matt. This injustice makes Matt furious. When the guard isn't paying attention, he knocks him out with 2 punches, runs downstairs quickly, and takes the bank manager's daughter hostage with a gun. Now, no one dares to mess with her. Matt takes her to his silver sports car, speeds away from the wealthy area at 200 miles per hour. With his superb driving skills, Matt manages to shake off the sheriff. They end up in the slums. Matt notices the surveillance camera above seems to have been tampered with. Before he can react, the car is punctured by a roadblock and goes off a bridge. But the trap was set by the Time Police. It is a group of time thieves. Hundreds of robberies happen every day in the slums. When they find out the woman has 10 years left of her life, everyone gets excited and starts stealing from her. When the two wake up again, they find that only less than half an hour of time remains. Without a ride, they can only run. Luckily, the town wasn't far ahead. Amy took off her diamond earrings and threw them into the auction house. The boss said they could trade for 2 days' time. After all, diamonds lose their value once they're secondhand. The two quickly split the hard-earned time. Now each of them had a day to figure out how to raise the money. Matt forced him to call the bank manager. He demanded 1,000 years of time be sent as ransom. Otherwise, he would kill his only daughter. 1,000 years was nothing to the wealthy bank manager. He agreed to transfer the time into Matt's account by tomorrow morning. But what Matt didn't know was his location had already been exposed during the call. When dawn came, the two went to pick up the time, but it turned out the bank manager had been lying. Amy angrily called her father. She asked him if he really didn't care whether she lived or died. While they were talking, the sheriff had already arrived quietly to arrest Matt, but Matt was sharp enough to spot him and fired first. The sheriff hit the ground. Matt checked his time and found he only had half an hour left. Turns out, time cops only carry a little time on each mission. To keep criminals from taking advantage, Matt stole the police car and drove off. But the sheriff realized that Matt had given him 4 hours when they shook hands. It turned out Matt was worried that without the car, half an hour wouldn't be enough for the sheriff to get out of the slums. This kind act won Amy over. The man in front of her didn't seem as bad as she had imagined. She gradually began to develop feelings for Matt. Now, photos of the two of them are all over the news. After this incident, Amy saw her father's true colors. The reason he refused to hand over 1,000 years of time was that he was afraid the poor would no longer borrow from his bank once they had so much time. That way, he wouldn't be able to enslave the poor with high interest rates. After learning the truth, Amy decided to team up with Matt to do something big that would benefit the slums. The two drove a truck to her father's loan bank and crashed straight through the glass into the time vault. They looted all the time stored there and distributed it to the poor who came to borrow from the bank. Using the same method, they robbed 4 or 5 banks, but no matter how much time they gave out, they couldn't change the current situation because the rich just had to raise the prices of everything by a few times to instantly devalue the poor people's time. and they could still enjoy their superior status. After hearing this, Amy had a sudden idea. What if the common people had nearly unlimited time? She knew her father's safe contained 1,000,000 years of time. That much time was definitely enough to change everything. Due to the unrest in the slums, the bank manager had increased the number of guards from 5 to 20. One day, Amy showed up at the front door with a gun. The guards ordered her not to move, but unexpectedly, Matt had already blended in among them. The two of them took the bank manager hostage and brought him to his office. With such a huge safe, the manager must have hidden the time inside. Even though they threatened him with pistols, the bank president still refused to reveal the safe combination. But his clever daughter had already guessed the code was Darwin's birthday. Because survival of the fittest had always been her father's belief, they successfully opened the safe, and inside was indeed a full 1,000,000 years of time. The bank president warned them not to mess around, that even splitting that time among 1,000,000 poor people would only give each of them one more year to cling to life. But Amy said a year was enough to bring endless hope. With the time in hand, the two calmly drove away. The sharp-witted sheriff began searching for them everywhere. At an intersection, he actually spotted their car. After so long, they were once again locked in a fierce chase. Even when Matt's car was rammed to a stop in the slums, it didn't stop him from handing out the 1,000,000 years to the poor. Using the crowd as cover, they kept running. But finally, when they reached the outskirts, the sheriff managed to cut them off. Matt realized the sheriff also came from the slums. Because the shortcut he took was only known to locals, Matt raised his hand, showing that after being chased this whole way, he now had only 1 minute of life left. That reminded the sheriff, who looked at his wrist and saw only 4 seconds remaining. He had been so caught up in the chase. Though they had escaped the pursuit, both now had very little time left. They knew the police car ahead still held some time, so Matt sprinted desperately for it. He got 2 days of time in the car. Slow Amy only had 6 seconds left to live. Matt went crazy and rushed back to her. At the most critical moment, they hugged tightly. He finally saved his most beloved woman. They looked at the 1 day left on each other's hands and smiled at each other. A day with the one you love most is already enough.